through our extensive experience and training and deep thought, we have come to realize that power tools need to be plugged in. I know this comes as a surprise to some of you, but trust us, that is correct. Right, Lupita?
Yes, very correct. Absolutely correct.
And when they're plugged in, they actually work. And they are loud.
Imagine that.
So step number 2,
We might need ear protection
we
today.
will need hearing protection.
Okay. We'll get that.
All right. So today we're going to build this beautiful, very whimsical shelf using 2.5 cedar boards, which means that our cost is well under $10, right? And because it's cedar, that can be outside on your patio or in your yard if you put some plants in it. It is very, very versatile. But this design can be used for an inside too as well. Two as well.
Two as well.
Both. 2 and as well. So also the neat thing about this design, like our last design, is that it can be scaled. You can make this bigger, you can make this smaller. And there are different ways you can display it as well, you know. If you want this, they can be horizontal instead of vertical.
Right.
So the next step will be state-of-the-art dust collection. As much as we love this machine, it makes a mess, right? It generates a lot of debris. So we decided to use cedar for this project for 2 very important reasons. The first is we have it. And the second is we have it. So we don't have to go out, right?
It's also beautiful, and we want to make something that is very attractive.
Yeah, that too, I guess, no. So we're going to start by making it nice and smooth. So we start with a very, very rough surface. I don't know how visible it's on the camera, but look at the difference planing makes. And we're going to put it through the thickness planer to make it nice and smooth. If you don't have a thickness planer, you can use sanding, a power sander, and that will give you very similar results. I need you here actually. Don't worry about it. While thickness planers are not designed to make the big heat, they do a great job at it. So here we're going to show you how we're using our thickness planer to achieve an excellent finish. Now I'm taking very, very little of each pass, and as you can see in the first pass, you can barely see any difference. We're going to pass the piece over a couple of times because you can see a difference, but then on the 3rd or 4th pass, you're going to see an unbelievably smooth surface. You can achieve the same, as I've said before, simply by sanding, but it is nowhere as fast. Now if you do have a power sander, you can approach the same speed, but I still prefer the thickness planer to give us an absolute perfect finish for this project or any other project. We use it quite a lot for this purpose. You can clearly now start seeing the amazing results. There are still some rough spots, but 1 more pass or 2 more at the most, and they're going to be gone. And look at this finish. This looks just amazing. We're very, very happy with how good that wood looks, and it takes it, totally transforms it from very rough to finished great quality material. So if you have a thickness planer, using it to achieve very smooth surfaces, as long as your blades are sharp, is a great little trip and tick, so you can enjoy a fantastic finished project in 1/10, 1/20th of the time that it would take you to sand the same project by hand.
See all the rough parts because they're not shiny, and the cool parts are when the light from the garage door. Isn't that nice?
So all of a sudden, we start seeing a lot of blowout from here, which is not normal. As you can clearly see here, no chips should be expelled from this port when normally the vacuum operates and the chips are removed. So no chips should be here. We cleaned it a little bit, but it should be as clean as everything. You can see now with the vacuum operating, nothing is coming out of here, which indicated to us that probably our vacuum was full. And when we check on our vacuum, oh and behold, you see it's compacted there, right?
It's full.
And I suspect it's full.
It's full.
I would say this is full. Wow.
Pretty full.
Okay. So the lesson here is watch and listen to your machine, right? In this instance, the excess amount of savings I was seeing in the back indicated to me that our collection was full, right? So that was way too excessive. So we're going to square the edges because it has beaten us in the butt, right? And also because they have the ears, we're going to remove the ears from each board. Leave it towards me. Okay. Thanks. So like we usually do, we cut our first board and then we're going to use this board as our measuring stick to cut, in this case, 3 more, right? Yes. We need a total of 4, correct? Ladies?
Yes.
By only measuring one time and using that first measure as the guide for the length of all the pieces, we have consistent pieces, and even if we make a small measurement error, it does not matter because the important thing is consistency, which we're guaranteed by using the first piece to cut all the other one. Consistency is far more important than accuracy for most woodworking projects, so it is a good practice to aim for consistency rather than accuracy. Actually, put that there so you use the same board always for the measuring stick.
Thought you were just going to hold it.
I'm going to help you with this, honey. And now it's just simply rinse and repeat. You can make as many copies as you want from that original measurement, and you can be sure that it will be very, very exact. So your project will not have any issues when it is coming together. Is that long enough?
No, it's not.
Okay.
This is our measuring one.
So here are the 6 boards we need for the cases. In our case, we have 4 boards at 18 inches and 2 boards at, what is it, 16 and a half? I don't remember.
16 and a half. Yeah.
16 and a half. The dimensions are arbitrary. You can change them to fit your needs. But we're going to start assembling these because the assembly of these will give us the final dimension for the remaining pieces we need to cut.
Yeah.
So for assembly purposes, we're going to use some wood glue and brad nails. But because of the thickness of this, we're going to just use wood glue and CA glue to start with, and then we're going to add the brad nails for strength.
Are we using wood glue or just CA glue?
We're using wood glue.
Okay.
Here it is. Making an appearance is the wood glue.
Okay.
Okay. Question for you, is it easier to do it? Okay, so we're going to start with wood glue.
If it wants to come out.
Well, this is the thick glue, so it doesn't always want to come out. And then we're going to use CA glue between the dabs of the wood glue. So you pressed it, don't see anything coming out. Oh, there. Fast corner clamps will be invaluable here. We do not have them, but these red clamps work really good in a pinch. If you have a jig that you have made for corner assembly, that would probably be the best here, and that's something that I'm going to make a video about and show you how to construct one. That will make this process much faster than what you see us here struggling with for alignment. You want me to tighten this? Mm-hmm. Is it aligned, Elpida? Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent. So we ran out of material. Well, we didn't really run out of material. We ran out of finished material. So we need a little bit more, approximately that much more. And we're going to cut it in our saw.
Mm-hmm. First, we're going to take the edge off.
Since we're saving money, since we're saving time by only measuring one time, taking time to ensure that the alignment is correct on the 2 pieces before you cut them, it's a very important step to ensure the consistency of your cuts. This is, however, still much faster than measuring every time and risking measurement error every time, and experience has told us it does not work as well. I can see the line just touching your piece, so that should be good, right? We're going to put that piece that we just cut through the planer so it will be nice and finished. And we're going to show you the next step of the way. As always, we're using the latest cut design tools. Very, very expensive, right? In order to see what we visually like. You can do mathematics if you want, we just don't want today. So this is the look we're going for. So our next step is to mark where we're going to cut those strips that we just created. And we're going to cut them all the same dimension on the soap saw. But you start seeing a little bit of the vision of what we're trying to build. Or maybe you don't, but that's what we're trying to build. So we have all our verticals. They're all the same length. They're all the same width because we did rip them on the table saw. And we are all ready for the final assembly part. So now we're doing our final checks for square. And we are going to be ready to start assembling. It looks square from here. Add the double glue. And move that Elpida to touch the... Move these to touch the... I was asking Elpida to move that shelf to touch our story stick to ensure that the dimension was correct because we want this to be absolutely in the middle. What we have there by Elpida's hand is a small story stick. The other one, okay.
This
Yeah. Your angle is too high, you need to go towards the ground, yeah. What?
Okay.
It doesn't fire, honey, unless it's towards the ground. Slowly and methodically continue attaching each of the next pieces. After many years of use, the tip of our air gun has actually been misplaced or broken, and since then it does not want to fire correctly. We're going to replace the tip and tell you what happens. There are two ways to proceed here. We are looking at the back of what will be the back of this unit, and we have decided to use the same method, so it will look identical in the back as it does in the front, but if you wanted, you could use one single piece, and that will provide a little more surface to attach it to your wall. A short tip here, after you do the first one, which is the inside, do the outside one, and that applies to both pieces. And that will give you strength and rigidity and will allow you to continue without any problems. So ladies, how would we advise our... Let's do that again. How would we advise our viewers as far as the difficult level for this? Beginner, intermediate, or advanced?
I think this could be a beginner one. It's really about the layout. You know, you cut your pieces, they're all straight cuts. You make, you know, the measurements or however big or small you feel like you want the piece to be for your space and for what you're going to use it for. You make the straight cuts, and then you put it together how it's aesthetically pleasing to you. These two sides could have come closer together or been further apart, and that's all depending on what looks good to you.
And also the thickness of this can change, right?
Definitely.
The width of them, I mean. We end up with what, 1 1/4.
Yep.
So our dimensions, if you want to do ours, is 1 1/4, and each of the cases, the carcasses is 18 by 18, but this is not written anywhere. You can make this design in any dimension you want, and whatever fits your space. Now we use some of the tools we use because we have them, but most of the cuts can be done using a handsaw. These are tricky with a handsaw, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can buy them this dimension from the store. You can buy 1/2 by 1 1/2 or something like that. So if you don't have the equipment, you can still make small modifications to the design and build it. What is the hardest part?
I think that like the hardest part for me was just figuring out how the pieces fit together and what dimensions they are for that aesthetic that you're looking for.
Yeah, and that is a personal preference. How about finishing? This is cedar, so if you leave it like that outside, it's going to age in a very nice rustic color, but it will not rot, it will not go bad.
It'll get a patina on it that'll
Right.
be kind of a gray look to it.
Now, if you want to protect it from the sun and you don't want it to change color, you need to use some form of UV protection on it. Some silacs have UV protection. And oil will be a good finish just to bring the grain out. Or what are we going to do with it?
Probably some shellac or poly, one of the two, just to make it shiny. We're going to keep this one indoors, but you know, we just still want to protect it, and I do think that it'll really pop with some kind of shiny finish on it.
Okay.
Sanding is a necessary part of woodworking, especially for finished products.
Even though we did plane these boards, there is a little bit of roughness, just a little bit, that I wanted to make sure we get off. I didn't want to take too much of the thickness of the board off with the planing, so I knew there would be, because of the rough surface of a cedar picket, you can't get down to the smooth, 100% without taking off quite a bit of thickness of the wood.
And also the thickness planer doesn't do anything for these edges
Right.
of the board. It only did it for the surface of the board.
And here's a tip for you guys. If you need to sand between two boards and you don't have enough space, just use a piece of scrap. This is a very nice piece of scrap.
It is. It's a beautiful piece of scrap.
And put your sandpaper around it and then go to town with it.
Yep.
You don't need the most expensive tools. Just the tool between your two ears. Which, by the way, is the most expensive tool. Right?
I would say.
ASMR sanding with Mrs. DIY and Elpida. Like that, we have a paint and finish station. Amazing. I'm teasing you, this is actually our table. So. You think I tease them? I trick them, Alpida?
But the versatility, that's what we're demonstrating.
Yeah. It is a chopper. It is a... I don't know, whatever the advertisement you say. It's a chopper and something else.
It's a slicer. It's a dicer.
There you go. So we decided to go with poly. Again, this is an optional step. You do not have to finish it at all if you don't want to. And if you leave it inside, cedar does not age. So you can see there are projects we have from the old house. They still look exactly like cedar, right?
Yep. It's just that they dry out. Wood grain will dry out.
Right, and really some oil will be good to bring the grain out and protect it and etc., right?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. 9 million years later.
So you can see how the grain is popping up with this poly being on it. The way the light is shining and really bringing that grain up.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
We probably got about halfway through doing this. It's a little slow going because of the little pieces, right?
Right.
But you can see there the shine that's on that one. Just with that little bit of light and how that's different from this, for instance. Another quick check-in. This wood is pretty dry, so it's kind of soaking up the poly. And you can still see it there, but you can also see some drier spots. So in all likelihood, we're gonna need at least another coat. Depends on how that next coat comes out, but it's looking really good. And you can see the grain for this cedar is really coming out with the application of this.
And I know that, you know, some people might want to do something different. Cedar is, you know, known for durability. But, you know, you might want to stain this. I don't want to stain it because I think that the pink and the different shades of the pink and the white in the grain is just really beautiful. So I wouldn't want to change the color, but I did want to bring it out, and that's why I chose the poly.
I'm not sure I've ever seen anybody stain cedar, but I guess it's possible.
I guess it's possible. So whatever you're using it for,
Yeah.
you know, we choose cedar because we love the look of the wood. It smells good too, although not now because I put poly on it.
If you're not sealing it, definitely you're still going to get the smell of it. A lot of people obviously use it for closets and cedar chests, and you saw us doing that project with the steamer trunk where we lined it with cedar as well. And that has actually worked out really well for me. It's been really great. But for this one, I think because you're making it a display piece, that's why you want to have that finish on it so that it stays like nice and bright for you.
Yep.
Well, friend, this is our project for today, and we hope you enjoyed watching us build it as we enjoyed building it ourselves. If you did enjoy, please I cannot speak today. If you did enjoy, please smash that like button. If you didn't, hit the other button twice. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know if you enjoyed this episode and if you would like similar in the future. From Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY and Elpida, let's build something fun together.